Welcome to another edition of Guns 101, brought to you by the Self-Defense Radio Network. It's our welcome for new gun owners. I'm Rob Morse from Self-Defense Gun Stories. My partners here are Amanda S.A.F.E from Eye on the Target Radio, and the guy behind the curtain doing all that heavy lifting, that's Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society podcast. Our guest tonight is Derek LeBlanc from the Kids Safe Foundation. Derek, you're going to talk about safe storage to people that didn't have a gun in their house last month. Where do they start?
Well, I want to start off by saying welcome. What you're about to embark upon with your family is a tremendous journey that a lot of us fellow Americans enjoy. And so tonight, what I'm going to talk about is secure storage, because I think, with rights come great responsibility. And part of that is, if you're going to be bringing a firearm into your home, it's important that you obviously educate your kids on what not to do if they ever come across that gun that's just kind of laying around, and also know what to do in an emergency. And so today, what I'll do is I'll start off with a couple gun vaults that I have here. This is kind of one of my favorites. This one's made by Vault-Tec, and so Vault-Tec, this one is very there's a lot of great features on this gun vault. So basically, it's very robust. Has it's very sturdy. There's multiple ways that I can get into this gun vault, and so I can have a fingerprint. There's also a keypad here. There's also a key backup right here, and so with this one, I can just kind of enter the code. It opens up, and I can securely keep my firearm inside there. Okay. And so with this one's also has a built-in app, so I can actually, if this safe is ever moved, it'll send me a text alert on my cell phone. So it's a great feature, uses great technology. And so people are always afraid of, if I have my gun secure, I can't always get into it when I need it. And so with these modern gun vaults, you can basically get into them in an instant. And so there's really no reason just to leave a firearm unsecured, especially if you're new to firearms. Obviously with what's happening in our society, security is big for our homes. And so, we're potentially exposing our kids to a potential accident inside our home if we're not smart about it. And I think there's a lot of good information out there right now when different options for you to keep those guns secure. So obviously I cover the Vault-Tec. With the Vault-Tec, I also have another one. This one is another good option for you. This one is made by the Gun Box. Okay. So with this one has, I can either use my fingerprint to get in it. It also has a numeric code. What I really like about this one is it also has an RFID card. And so I can keep my wallet in my card. I can just hit the button. You see the blue light, touch my card, the gun comes open. Or the box comes open for my gun. Okay, so once again, there's really no reason just to leave a gun unsecured, especially with young children in the home. And so those are all great options. I can get into them. They're very secure. There's also mounting options for inside the vehicle. Okay, so basically, I'm able there's cables that they do come with, and so you can actually secure it inside the vehicle. So there's another good option. You can kind of take this vault with you on the go. And so part of do you guys want to jump in, or how do you guys want to do this?
Well,
you want me to just keep going?
Running. You keep going.
All right.
You're running.
All right.
And then we'll ask we'll ask some questions as you go. But because the purpose that you've got is to demonstrate some different options that are available to families and to new gun owners. So roll on, Big Wheel.
Okay, so Big Wheel's coming in hot. Okay, so basically, part of. Go ahead.
I like what you're saying about the vaults. They're accessible very quickly. The notion that, I'll just keep my gun unloaded in the box it came in under the bed with the ammunition up here in the closet, and you're saying that doesn't work for safety. In that case, just put it away because it doesn't do anything.
Well, and ultimately we have to think about young kids. Okay, so when we have 3 and 4 year olds, they're very inquisitive. They're always into things, and they're always trying to figure out how things work. And I think, as a public that's, if you're new to firearms, you have to realize that, we lose 8 to 9 kids per day across the country to an unsecured firearm. Okay. That's just a CDC data. And so that's something our organization is working actively to prevent. In our history, we've reached about 21,000 kids in 4 states and taught them these life-saving skills. Okay. So what goes hand in hand with the secure storage is having a conversation with your kids and making sure that we're going to take this novelty away when it comes to your firearm. Your firearm is a tool and it's not a toy. And so this is something that we teach firearm safety classes to kids in local Cabela's. And so that's part of, it's kind of it's a parent, family, it's a total family experience, because we're exposing the whole family to the firearm, and we're answering good questions in a safe, controlled environment, and giving the parents good, relevant, topical information. And, right now kids are getting, they're out of school, so they're getting their information from either YouTube, TikTok. There's a lot of bad information on TikTok, video games, their friends. And so it's really, really important as parents that we're properly educated on the topic, especially when it comes to firearms. If you're new to firearms, this is something that could be potentially fatal to your child if you're not safe. And so that's why it's really, really important to, obviously secure that firearm when it's not in use, and make sure that those kids know these 4 basic rules that we always cover. And so number 1, we're going to stop. Okay. We're going to stop. Okay. The reason I say stop is it gives me enough time to remember the other 3 rules. There's 4 altogether. Okay. So number 2, we're going to don't touch that firearm. Okay. If I don't touch the firearm, it's less likely to go off hurting me or someone else. Okay. So number 3, I'm going to run away. I'm going to get out of that situation. Okay. What if I'm at a friend's house? Okay. My friend wants to show me his dad's unsecured firearm because he knows where that gun is. That's how I could be hurt. And so that's really, really important that I get out of that situation. Okay. Number 4, we're going to tell a grown-up. Okay. Make sure that we know that, let that adult know where that firearm is, and let them make the right decision. And so that obviously those are the rules that I cover with young kids. And, typically we're starting the kids out about, 3 and 4 years old, all the way on up. And we're having a conversation, and that way we're treating these guns as tools, not toys. And from that point, we're transitioning into actually demoing real firearms, which I have some tonight that I'll demo in the next video. And then we're also talking about video games, video game violence. We're also talking about Nerf guns and airsoft guns. Those are great tools to teach our kids, proper safety, like trigger discipline, muzzle control. And so we can put up actual targets, and those kids can get good repetitions, and you guys can shoot together with the Nerf gun. It just, I prefer that we don't point muzzles at one another.
I want to interrupt. I want to ask a couple questions to you before we run out of time in our segment. And so the first question is, how many parents have you heard say, well, I'm just going to hide the gun because my kids won't find it?
I hear that that's the most common. And the other one is, another one that I always hear is my kid would never do that.
To them? What is your response to them on that?
Well, I try to be respectful, but it's very, very ignorant. Obviously, when complacency is always the killer in here, is we always think that it's not going to be our kid, or our kid would never do that, or, and ultimately when it comes to this type of situation, we never know. Our kid could be with a friend, and that's what, makes them vulnerable in that situation. We can always try to control what happens in our home, but when our kid's at the park or our kid is at a friend's house, we can't control that. And so that's why we have to be smart, and we have to educate our kids on what not to do and empower our kids to make good, safe decisions.
Well, that makes so much sense, because one of the answers that I tell when I'm teaching, but no way do I focus solely on children, but it is the fact that tell me which year you didn't find at least one of the Christmas presents that was hidden somewhere in the house, and then tell me why you think your kids aren't that able, that smart, that bright, that inquisitive. And that's kind of really where that is, and it seems to be a wake-up call to adults, because then they sort of get it, because kids have nothing. They're bored, they're easily bored, they've got nothing but time, and they've got full access to everything that's in your house. So there's all that. We're gonna wrap up this video, roll out another one, because Derek is going to talk to us about a variety of things that involve children and firearms knowledge. But Derek's group is called KidSafeFoundation.org. So look him up because he does really good work. You're listening to all of us from the Self-Defense Radio Network. You can find us on sdrn.us.